My name is Madison. I'm 28 years old, and I am the first doctor in my entire family. I always believed that the day I finally heard someone say, Dr. Madison, into a microphone, my parents would be there in the front row, crying louder than anyone else. I imagined them wiping tears from their eyes, their hands trembling, my dad fumbling with his phone to capture every awkward, perfect moment, my mom squeezing his shoulder as they both watched me walk across that stage, finally impossible to ignore. I thought a degree, a cap and gown, 7 years of sleepless nights, exams, and sacrifice would finally make me seen. And I thought, if nothing else, it would force them to acknowledge me. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I remember waking up that morning before my alarm, heart hammering like it had a life of its own. For a few long, quiet seconds, I let the half-darkness of my bedroom pretend everything was normal. That everything would finally be normal. Then reality hit me like a train. Today was the day. 7 years of vending machine dinners, panic attacks. Before exams, 3 a.m. clinical rotations. An endless second-guessing of every choice I'd ever made. All were supposed to pay off today. Today was when the world would finally call me Dr. Madison Carter. Asterisk in my head, I had rehearsed the moment 1,000 times. The details were always the same. Mom in the front row, mascara streaked from crying. Dad leaning forward in his seat, zooming his phone in too close, cutting off the top of my cap. Both of them standing before anyone else, the first to applaud. My brother rolling his eyes, pretending not to care, but later secretly bragging about me to his friends. That fantasy carried me through the countless moments of exhaustion. The nights I doubted myself, the mornings I wondered if I'd ever make it. I clung to it because I had to. It was the last tether I had to the idea that my family would finally see me. I moved through my morning almost ritualistically. Shower, dress, iron the invisible wrinkles of years of being background noise. Pull on the black gown that felt like a costume rather than a symbol. Pin the cap carefully. Adjust the tassel until it was perfect. And then I stood in front of the mirror, trying to see myself the way I imagined them seeing me. First doctor in the family, proof that all my sacrifices meant something. Proof I existed, finally. I had even decorated the top of my cap with neat white letters. First doctor in the family. It was supposed to be playful, proud, innocent. But looking at it now, it felt like a question. Did my family even care? Asterisk, and then my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Mom. Relief surged through me. Of course they were calling. Of course, they were on their way, arguing about parking or traffic or something trivial, ready to arrive just in time for the grand applause. I answered, already smiling. Hey, are you guys on your way? You should still get good seats if you left early. Asterisk, her voice cut through, too light, almost rehearsed. Like she was announcing an early lunch rather than acknowledging a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Sweetie, she said. Listen, we mixed up the dates. Asterisk, I froze. My heart lurched. What? My voice was calm at first, then pitched with disbelief. Asterisk, you heard me, she rushed. Your brother's barbecue is today. We already invited everyone. There's tons of food. Your father's been marinating the meat since yesterday. It's a big thing for him. We can't just cancel. It would be rude. You understand. Asterisk, I felt my blood run cold. You're not coming? To my graduation? Asterisk, yes, she said, almost like it was a fact of nature. We'll celebrate next week. Take pictures. Dress up, post them online. Same thing. This way, your brother doesn't lose face with clients. Asterisk, I gripped the phone like it was a lifeline slipping through my fingers. This isn't some random event, I said through clenched teeth. I worked 7 years for this. 7 years of exams, clinics, sleepless nights. This is the one day you're supposed to show up for me. Asterisk, there was muffled shuffling. Then my dad's voice on the line, calm, tired, condescending. Don't start. We're proud of you, really, but it's just a ceremony. They say your name, everyone claps, you walk across the stage. That's it. You already accomplished the hard part. We support you. Asterisk, if you supported me, I whispered, you'd be in those seats. Asterisk, a frustrated sound. You know how much work went into this barbecue, he said. Your brother's built his network around events like this. People expect us. We can't blow them off for a bunch of names we don't know. We'll celebrate next week. Don't be dramatic. Asterisk those words. That same phrase I had heard all my life. Don't be dramatic. The bandage my parents slapped over every wound I had ever shown them. The same words when they left my school. Play early when they missed parent-teacher conferences, when they ignored my scholarship ceremony. That phrase wrapped around my heart like steel. Asterisk something inside me went very still. My fantasy, the one that had carried me for 7 years, dissolved in an instant. It felt like it had never existed. My cap and gown hung on the closet door, perfect and meaningless. Asterisk I spoke, and my voice sounded flat, foreign even to me. Got it. Have fun at the barbecue. Asterisk Mom jumped back on the line. Don't say it like that. We'll celebrate. Send us pictures. You'll see us on stage. Asterisk I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. I stood there in the, half-dark, phone still pressed to my ear, letting silence echo through the apartment. The thought crossed my mind. Stay in bed, ignore the ceremony, pretend it was just another Tuesday. But then the worst truth hit. If I didn't go, they'd tell everyone I gave up. That I was fragile, emotional, too sensitive to reach my goal. And I wasn't. I got dressed. I drove. I parked in a lot. Families spilled out of cars with balloons, flowers, homemade signs. I walked alone. Asterisk inside the hall, the noise hit me. Like a wall. Babies crying, cheering, applause. People waved at their kids below. I sat in my assigned seat. The chairs beside me bore reserved signs. My parents' names. I left them there. I couldn't peel them off. When the dean told us to stand and wave at our families, I turned my hand toward strangers. Nobody familiar. A father in a baseball cap. A little girl clutching a stuffed animal. An older couple arguing about a camera. Not a single face I had ever loved. I lifted my hand halfway, then let it drop. Asterisk every name called, every applause around me, reminded me of what I didn't have. It wasn't jealousy. It was confirmation. My family had chosen something else. They had chosen convenience over me. Asterisk, and then my phone buzzed again. A photo from my brother, the backyard barbecue. My parents smiling, my father holding tongs, my mother holding a bowl. Happy. Prism. Just not for me. My chest tightened. I realized fully what they had done. They didn't forget. They didn't misunderstand. They made a choice. Asterisk, and in that moment, the fantasy I had lived in for 7 years, of being celebrated by them, of being seen, finally died. That night, after the applause faded and the campus lights dimmed, I went home to an apartment that felt too quiet for a day that was supposed to change my life. I hung the cap and gown over the back of a chair like they were evidence from a crime scene and sat on the floor with my back against the couch, staring at nothing. Asterisk my phone buzzed again and again. Classmates, professors, people who had watched me survive 7 brutal years and knew what it took to stand where I stood. Congratulations poured in from people who weren't required to care, and that somehow hurt more. Asterisk because the 2 people who were supposed to care the most said nothing. Asterisk no, we're proud of you. Asterisk no, we made a mistake. Asterisk no, we're sorry. Just silence. Then my brother's name appeared on my screen again. Another notification. Another photo. A wide shot of the backyard now packed with people. Smoke rising from the grill like a victory signal. Red cups raised mid-laughter. And there they were, my parents, frozen in the background, smiling like the world was exactly how they wanted it to be. Wish you were here. I zoomed in on their faces. My mother's laugh lines deep. My father relaxed, tongs in. Hand like he was performing something important. They looked present. They looked proud. Just not of me. Asterisk, and that's when the lie I'd been carrying my entire life finally collapsed. They didn't forget. They didn't misunderstand. Asterisk, they didn't. Mix up the dates. They chose. I slid my phone face down on the floor and let myself cry. Not the quiet, polite kind of crying, but the ugly kind that shakes your ribs and makes your throat burn. I cried for the little girl who scanned every school auditorium, looking for her parents' faces. For the teenager who learned to clap for herself. For the adult who still believed one big achievement would finally tip the scales. Asterisk when the tears stopped, what was left wasn't sadness, it was clarity. I realized I had been treating their love like an exam. If I just studied harder, if I just achieved more, if I just became impressive enough. But there was nothing wrong with my answers. Asterisk, the test itself was rigged. Asterisk, that's when I opened my laptop and typed the words that felt both terrifying and freeing. Legal name change process. Asterisk, at first it felt dramatic. Like something people would laugh at. Like proof they'd been right about me all along. But the more I read, the calmer I became. The steps were simple. Almost boring. File a petition. Pay a fee. Show up. Sign your name. People did it every day. I wasn't trying to erase my past. I was trying to stop dragging it behind me like a weight. Asterisk, I pulled an old shoebox from the closet, the one I never opened because it hurt too much. Inside were letters from my grandmother, Margaret Murphy, the only adult who ever showed up, without needing a reminder. The one who came to my plays when my parents were busy. The one who mailed me $5 bills with notes that said, "I'm proud of you. Keep going." Asterisk in one letter, written in looping ink, she said, "Some families give love like breathing. Others make you earn each breath. Don't stay where you're always gasping for air, Maddie." I traced her signature with my finger. Murphy. For the first time, the name felt like shelter. Asterisk when I filled out the form, my hands shook for the first few lines. Then they steadied. It felt less like paperwork and more like a declaration. Madison Murphy. I wasn't just changing a name. I was choosing whose legacy I wanted to carry. Asterisk the next morning, the clerk stamped my documents without looking up. For her, it was routine. For me, it was a funeral. Carter went on life support that day. Asterisk, I mailed certified letters to my parents. No explanation, no apology, just facts. Effective immediately, I would legally be known as Dr. Madison Murphy. Asterisk that evening, my brother called, furious. "What the hell are you doing?" he demanded. "Mom is losing it. Dad says you're humiliating us." Asterisk, I'm not doing this over one barbecue, I said quietly. I'm doing this over a lifetime. Asterisk, he scoffed. You're insane. Asterisk, it's Murphy, I corrected him. And I'm finally sane. I hung up before fear could talk me out of it. Then I did something I'd never done before. I stopped protecting their image. I told the truth where people could see it, not with lies. Not with exaggeration. Just facts, photos, dates, words they themselves had used. And when the fallout came, I didn't flinch. I moved away. I took a job that wasn't glamorous. I worked long hours with people who came from families just as messy as mine. And somewhere between late-night paperwork and quiet therapy rooms, I started writing, asterisk at first, anonymously, carefully, about neglect, about golden children, about being cold dramatic when you point at the wound someone gave you. One post poured out of me faster than I could edit it. The empty seats, the phone call, the barbecue photo. The response shocked me. Strangers wrote back saying, "This happened to me." Asterisk, I thought I was crazy. Asterisk, thank you for saying it out loud. Asterisk, my pain stopped being a secret. It became a signal. Asterisk, for almost 3 years, my parents barely reached out. Stiff holiday emails. Forwarded memes. Nothing that resembled accountability. I didn't go home. I didn't send gifts. I didn't chase closure. Then one article went viral. And suddenly, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing, not because they missed me. Because my truth was costing them something. Asterisk, when my mother finally left a voicemail, her voice was tight with panic. People are talking, she said. Your brother is losing clients. Your father's reputation is being questioned. Asterisk not we hurt you. Asterisk not we were wrong. Asterisk just Look what this is doing to us. Asterisk, that's when I understood the final piece. They weren't calling because they felt guilt. They were calling because they felt consequences. Asterisk, when we met, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I laid the evidence on the table. Messages, photos, recordings. Asterisk, you're not mad I lied, I said calmly. You're mad I told the truth where other people could hear it. Asterisk, they asked me to come home. To move past it. To stop being dramatic. And for the first time in my life, that word didn't hurt. No, I said. I'm not coming back. I walked out into the sunlight feeling lighter than I ever had. Today, my life is quiet in the best way. My patients know me as someone who believes them. My friends know I show up. My chosen family knows I will never treat them like they're optional, asterisk, and here's the truth I wish someone had told me sooner. Walking away from people who never chose you isn't cruelty. It's self-respect. Asterisk, so I'll ask you this, and I want you to sit with it. Asterisk, if the people who share your blood treat you like you're disposable, asterisk, is staying really loyalty? Asterisk, or is leaving the first real act of love you ever give yourself?